members and audience. As we gather here for the National Science Day 2026 as well as for the Saransh 2025 felicitation ceremony. We now begin the formal proceedings of this afternoon, and I respectfully invite Dr. Geeta Vani Raisam, Director, NISPER, Professor Shekhar C. Mande, President, Indian National Science Academy, Professor Indranil Manna, Vice President, INSA. I request Dr. Mohit Tyagi, Chair, INYAS, to please escort our guests to the dais. Thank you so much, distinguished guests. I now request Dr. Mohit Tyagi to please extend a warm token of gratitude to our chief guest for this ceremony, Dr. Geeta Vani Raisam, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your gracious presence today. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request Dr. Mohit Tyagi, Chair, INYAS, to kindly present the ceremonial welcome to all our distinguished guests for today's program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ananya. Good afternoon to all. Respected President INSA, Mande sir, Vice President Manna sir, Geeta madam, very good afternoon. And it's my privilege and honor to have this program and your presence here to felicitate the winners of Saransh. So Indian National Young Academy of Science, we have few competitions among students. So this Saransh is one of them. All students all over India, they have to present their thesis work in 3 minutes only, and then from all subjects, physical science, chemical science, and other subjects. And then we pick, we have committee, we have evaluation committee, and then we pick few winners there from each category. So this year total 11 winners are there, and it's a really great privilege that in your presence we will felicitate them. And apart from that, we are also celebrating this National Science Day, having the theme of this Women in Science Catalyzing Viksit Bharat. So it's also a sense of pride and a great honor that now it has been just around 100 years, even not 100 years, when some female was not allowed to enter ISC Bangalore, and then within this, now they are in driving positions, and it's a really great moment of joy also, and I am very happy that government put this theme this year here. So in Indian National Young Academy of Science, we have 3 flagship program, and out of 3, one is called Women in Science Domain, that is called Wisdom. And then last year in this Wisdom, under this Wisdom program, we had 4 different programs there. One was WINGS, WINGS, means Work and Industry Neutral Growth Skills Workshop, which was held at IIT Bombay. Then there was another program, NARI, NAARI, means New Approaches in Applied Research and Initiatives, in which publications from women scientists, those were published in a special issue by Springer. Then we had one program, GIRL, GIRL, means Grow, Ignite, Reimagine, to be Leaders, which is basically dedicated to girls in rural areas especially. And then another program we had, Her Story, means Scientific Tales of Remarkable Yield, which was a kind of comic series of role models in women scientists. So those 4 programs INYAS conducted under Women in Science Domain flagship program. So that's why it's really connected, and it's our great privilege that this year theme actually it's in line of our that INYAS mandate for Women in Science program also. And I'm very happy and proudly I can say that even the core committee members, INYAS has 8 core committee members, and out of 8 you will see that 5 are basically women scientists. So that's basically, with this I'll not take much time, and thank you, very very warm welcome to attend this function. Thank you all. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome. To set the tone for today's felicitation and National Science Day at INSA, I now invite Professor Indranil Manna, Vice President, to deliver the opening remarks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shekhar Mande, President, Dr. Geeta Vani Rayasam, the Chief Guest, Mohit, and members of INYAS, and proud prize recipients. I just was entering and asked Mohit, what is this about? And then he explained in 1 minute, not even 3 minutes, what is Sarans. And immediately what struck me was the very similarity with a very world-famous conference, series of conference called Gordon Conferences. I think some of you would have had the privilege of attending or giving a talk there. You have just 5 minutes. So people travel from all over the globe and aspire to be invited to present in Gordon Conferences, only to go and present within 5 minutes. Now, I personally, I didn't know, I must confess, I didn't know much about Saran's program, but it's a very laudable effort for one very major reason. And I'll just take 2 minutes to explain why I think so. You know, we all pursue the knowledge space, and I maintain that knowledge space is a coin which has two sides. The dissemination, the teaching, which some of us who are in the teaching profession, we always do, or even as scholars and so on, but that's based on the existing body of knowledge. So teaching essentially is dissemination of the body of knowledge that already exists. The other side of the coin is creation, research. You create new knowledge. Otherwise, the whole world will know about a particular subject domain that the progress of science is only up to this much, and what lies ahead, we don't know. So obviously, humanity always would like to progress, and that's why we need research. So these two complement each other. That's how the journey of knowledge always continues. Like we all mentioned, learning starts the day you are born and continues till the day you breathe your last. So that's the journey of learning, and we acquire knowledge in that. Now, when you write a thesis, and that too Mohit explained to me, it's basically the thesis you have to present in 3 minutes. So when we all as scientists would like to publish papers, that's the creation part, and eventually also dissemination. So when you publish a 20 or 50 page paper in a very prestigious journal, those of us who are relatively experienced in the field would look at the title, go to the conclusion, and finally read the abstracts. Abstraction is a very important aspect of dissemination as well as pursuing knowledge space. And I keep telling my PhD scholars that the last few sentences, even phrases, of the conclusion of your paper or thesis or whatever is your contribution, original contribution to science. Science progresses only because of those. In order to establish those few sentences or lines or phrases, you actually need evidences, you need theories, you need various other supporting thesis to establish. So that's why you have chapters after chapters, and you introduce the problem in the introduction and so on and so forth. So that's how science progresses. So always, you and I feel very happy and proud when we are able to contribute those few lines or phrases in the form of publication. In the thesis also, it's the same thing. First of all, the scholar who publishes the thesis is the last word. He or she knows more than anyone, more than the supervisor. But what is new in that? We all scientists, we all pursue newness. And the new angle is those few conclusion part and those few final inferences. And for that, you don't need 1 hour. You actually need just 2 or 3 minutes. But obviously, to be able to appreciate, you need subject domain. You have to be initiated in the subject domain. Otherwise, you cannot. So it's a very laudable initiative of INYAS. INYAS is what, like 12 years old now? 14 years old. Okay. So that's a very major initiative of Indian National Science Academy. And those who are part of INYAS, you know very well that it is an independent wing of INSA. I don't know whether we may call it a wing of INSA or at least patronized by INSA. So they are doing very well, and I'm very happy that I think some number, 7 or 8 of you are going to get felicitated today. So my heartfelt congratulations to all of you, and would like to see that INYAS does even better. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. It is now my privilege to invite the President of Indian National Science Academy, Professor Shekhar Chintamani Mande, sir, to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you, Ananya. The distinguished guests on the dais, all the members present here in the audience. It's a pleasure for me to be here amongst all of you, especially for one reason that Professor Manna mentioned, that INYAS is an academy or a group of young people that is mentored by INSA. And this initiative started in 2012, I believe, 2014, when INSA decided that we have to have a separate voice for the younger scientists of the country. And to the extent possible, we all stay out of the day-to-day activities of INYAS, and in fact we very gently mentor them. We don't in fact even ask them what you are doing and what not, but all the programs that have been conceived and done are all by INYAS members themselves. And Mohit has recently taken over as the president of INYAS, so congratulations Mohit on this. Very pleased to learn that one of the activities which is there is to promote the research scholars' thesis and encourage them to summarize the thesis in a short time. And Professor Manna already told you the reason. I totally agree with what he said, that once you become an authority in a particular field or in an area that you have researched on, then you have to have the ability to tell that piece of work to anyone who is the audience. It could be a technical audience, it could be general public, it could be policy makers, or anyone else that you can actually think of. So you are the best person who can explain that work, because you know the work in sufficient depth that you can explain to anyone. And that ability you will have to develop during your career, and trust me, it will stand you in good deal if you do it now. To be ability to talk about your work, or even talk about anyone else's work in that, for that matter, to different kinds of audiences. Now we are having this function on a Science Day, National Science Day, and those of you who were here earlier today would recall what I said. The Science Day is celebrated to celebrate the discovery of Raman effect. Sir C.V. Raman described to the world a new type of secondary radiation on 28th February 1928. He communicated that paper to 2 different journals, and the new type of secondary radiation is what today we call as the Raman effect. And as I recall, once again, there are many things that Raman characterized before he discovered this. Number one, he was not a trained scientist like any one of us. He had just simply done masters, passed civil services exams. He was working in an audit office, and as a hobby, in the evenings he used to go to Indian Institute of Cultivation of Science. That was his hobby. So after work, after the office got over, he would go there and work there. Right? He was not a scientist per se, and despite that, just out of plain curiosity, asking some very relevant questions about nature, he was able to discover this particular effect. So that is actually absolutely phenomenal. Number two, Raman's curiosity about nature we can see from his very young age. He was a student of Presidency College in the then Madras, now what we call as Chennai. And he published his first paper at the age of 18 in that particular college. I mean, while he was doing his lab work and all, as a student of masters in physics, he published his first work. There was a single author. There are no other authors in that particular paper. So that's how actually he used to be. He was very curious about nature, and by simply asking relevant questions and answering them, he actually became one of the giants of the field of that time. And that is epitomized by a very interesting incidents. One of the incidences is that he was sent to the UK, right? At that time, Ashutosh Mukherjee, who was the Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University, convinced Raman to take a tour of the UK, because UK, he said that you will get to meet people like Rutherford, Dirac and all those things, and he should visit and interact with them. He convinced Raman that he should go there, and Raman did indeed go there. It is during this trip he asked a question to himself, why is sky blue? And he dismissed the hypothesis that till then people had believed sky is blue because it's a reflection of the oceanic light. So he dismissed that particular hypothesis by doing some polarization experiment on the ship. But more importantly, when he went to the UK, he had a chance to go to St. Paul's Cathedral. And when he went to St. Paul's Cathedral, he was fascinated by the architecture inside, the dome which was there, and he actually clapped. And the reflections that they came, they fascinated him. So he went around the corner of the cathedral and clapped and measured the inferences of that. That evening he sat down and he wrote a paper on the acoustic nature of St. Paul's Cathedral that was published in Nature that year. So that just actually characterizes Raman's curiosity, ability to ask questions, answer them, very fundamental questions, and that's exactly what is needed to be done today once again. All of us, when we rediscover ourselves, we have to realize that probably our education system deprives us the ability to ask relevant questions. Probably, okay, I'm not saying that it does. There are many people who actually do, despite going through the education system extremely well, but we will have to rekindle that kind of curiosity amongst all the children and this and that. And the second thing, of course, once you obtain a good amount of results, the ability to convey those results to any kind of audiences which exist, that you should be able to do that. And in that particular respects, this today's program called Saransh by INYAS is very laudable, that it at least helps you in the second aspect of it, that it allows you to convey your results to wider audiences. Okay, so having said that, I would like to congratulate all the winners who are here, and I wish all of you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and also for highlighting the role of curiosity in studying science by telling us the story of Sir Chandrasekhar Venkataraman. Thank you so much, sir. We now move to the guest lecture of this session that we are waiting. It is our great pleasure to welcome Geeta Vani Raisam ma'am, Director CSIR, National Institute of Science Communication and Policy Research. Dr. Raisam is an accomplished scientist with a PhD in biochemistry from IISc Bangalore and rich postdoctoral experience in IGBMC, France and the NIH USA. At CSIR, okay, ma'am wishes to start with her lecture and I hand over the stage to ma'am. Over to you.
So good afternoon, everyone, and you can see it from there. Yeah.
Please excuse me. I have to go.
No, please go ahead. Thank you. So a happy National Science Day to each and everyone, and I think actually the Science Day is tomorrow, but today, because Honorable Minister had some other engagement, we celebrate it today. And firstly, my thanks to INSA for inviting me here as a chief guest, and I'm really honored to share the stage with Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, INSA President and former DG CSIR, Dr. Manna, and INYAS new President, Dr. Mohit. It's really a great opportunity for me to be here with all the winners of Saransh. Firstly, congratulations to each and every one of you who made it after the national competition. It's really a very tremendous effort that now we have narrowed down to 11 people from the various applications that were received. So huge applause to you. And also the theme was women empowerment, and which even Honorable Minister talked about. And I'm also happy to see about the initiatives which INYAS is really taking for women. The various schemes you talked about and the various initiatives. It's really a laudable step, because I think many times we talk there, when you see at the CSIR UGC NET exam, the number of women applying for the exam are very high. In fact, in some subjects, women are more. But actually, when you see in the scientist positions, the numbers fall. So we all know that there is a leaky pipeline. And I think measures like this, what INYAS is doing, will really boost, strengthening our women participation in the S&T ecosystem. And now coming to Saransh, I really appreciate this, because summarizing, like Dr. Manna really elucidated, how important it is. And not only for public, many times if you go into industry, what they call the elevator pitch, you get 2 minutes when you share that elevator with the CEO, and you need to talk about your work. So communication is a very, very integral part. So it's not just, you may think that, okay, I won a competition, but this will really help you in your future career. How to articulate what is your findings and to convince the public or convince the stakeholders. Could be industry, could be, other recruiters. So I think communication is a very important skill. And coming from an institution, National Institute of Science Communication and Policy Research, I think I cannot but emphasize the role of science communication. And so this institute, I think, while some of you know, for the newcomers who are joining us, it was formed in 2021 by merger of two earlier institutions, which were very well known in their own areas. NISCARE, which is known for science communication, and NISTADS, which was doing the policy research, were merged together to form NISPER in 2021 to align with the national vision and, to reform to the current needs of the country. So although it is only 5 years old, it has a vast legacy of the two organizations. And what I thought is, I'll just share a little bit of highlights of what NISPER is doing. And today I'm not going to talk so much about science communication, because Dr. Sandhya told me that you cover science policy this time. So I said, okay, why not talk about science policy and what the work is going on. So I'll just give you a flavor of what is the kind of work NISPER is doing. So as I said, what's the role of NISPER? To connect science and society and industry. And again, although we are from the CSIR fraternity, there are 37 CSIR labs across the country, and each of you may be receiving fellowship from CSIR, or you may be carrying out research. So CSIR mainly is developing technologies, and it has really contributed to the socio-economic development of the country. Now, where does NISPER come? NISPER is a very unique organization. Among the 37, it is the only organization which is not doing the contemporary, the traditional R&D, what you call developing products and developing technologies. What we do is develop, foster science communication and policy research. So it works as a unique platform connecting science, society, and industry, and it works at the interface of all these 37 CSR labs. So this is the brief vision. And so what are the roles and responsibilities of CSR NISPER? So as I said, there are two verticals broadly, the policy and the science communication. So one is the policy advocacy and research. So I will talk a little bit about it, evidence-based policy research and actionable policy recommendations. And what does the country need in terms of science, technology, and innovation? How do we promote that? What are the measures? That's another branch of research. And as I said, we are a very old organization, so we have many resources. We have a national science library with 3 lakh books, science, one of the largest in Asia. And there are also a lot of traditional, wealth of India, and so many resources, and digital resources are also available. And one of the main platform is we have 15 research journals. And in the end, I'll share it. So we are publishing research journals which are globally benchmarked and which are registered in Web of Science, Scopus indexed, and they have impact factors. And this is all online submission and Diamond Open Access. So I would encourage the young, and especially INYAS, to kind of promote publications in Indian journals. Because I think when we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is not just technologies, it's also important that we promote our research journals. I know INSA also has some research journals, and I'd really urge the young community, I'm not saying that you publish all the papers, but at least some contributions can come from the young community to Indian journals. And we have in vast spectrum, physics, chemistry, biology, engineering, and interdisciplinary journals also. Journal of Intellectual Property Rights we have Journal of Traditional Knowledge, Natural Products. Please look at the website and do publish in these journals. And we are also doing science communication research and communication through social media, because that's the latest, people are more in social media, so we are communicating through social media. And also we have a lot of global collaborations, and we're working with several think tanks, and of course, collaboration is a very important, and I'm happy to share that we signed an MOU with INSA just few weeks back, and yesterday, and again last week, we signed an MOU with National Disaster Management Authority. So we are trying to build linkages both at the national level and international level, because I think only through collaboration we can really make a difference. So what is the work in STI policy? I think some of you are new. The young may not know the evolution of Indian science policy. I'm just going to, this is a brief slide, and the reference is given if you want to read more about it. So India, when after independence, the first science policy was in 1958. And at that time, India was still a developing country. The focus was in building up of national laboratories and institutions. And many CSR labs were formed in the 1950s. And apart from CSI, India was developing the capacity for science and technology. And in 1983, the focus shifted to technology. Earlier, it was on human resource development and technology competence and self-reliance. And that was also the time of technology denial for India. And so TDB and TIFAC under DST were set up. And then you had the 2003 STI Science and Technology Policy, and there was focus on increased investment in R&D. Then you had a lot of new ICERs coming up, and then you have the Science STIP policy in 2013, and also in 2020, I think there was a new initiative of the STIP 2021 policy, where it was just initiated. And I just want to leave with this statement that in the Indian Constitution, scientific temper is actually referred as one of the fundamental duties. I think it's one of the only country in the world which has taken it to the constitution about scientific temper. This slide I'll skip. And now, what is CSR and NISPER's role? So here we are. I just want to give key examples. As I said, although this organization is 5 years old, NISTATS has been there for almost more than 50 years. So I just want to show that what is the work which was done. They brought out India S&T biennial reports, which really, and they also worked with the Office of PSA, for example, in 2014, to compare the S&T innovation of India and China and South Korea. How do you learn from other competing countries? What are the best policies? And we can learn. And we also worked on MSME. So this is just to give you an example of what kind of policy research has been going on. Now, what is it that we are doing today? Our focus is on evidence-based policy studies, especially interdisciplinary capacity building, and also we are using scientometrics and socioeconomic impact analysis, and also fostering the entrepreneurship ecosystem and foresight studies. So these are some of the broad areas which we are focusing at NISPER. Again, it is here. And what are the domains we are working in is mainly energy. We all know how important energy is, and agrotechnology and health and environment. These are the main broad areas which we are working on policy studies. And recently we also started on human-centered AI, because we know that there was AI Impact Summit, and there's a big focus in the country on AI. And I think no country can afford not to harness AI. And of course, these are all the tools, and I just want to talk about technology readiness level assessment, which I'll come later. So I just want to give an example of what I mean by evidence-based policy research. Dr. Sandhya, who is here, it is her work, and she's also an INYAS fellow. And I think NISPER is very happy that we have many INYAS fellows who have been here with us. Dr. Meherwan, Dr. Charulata is here, Dr. Parmanand. It's really nice that so many young scientists are getting recognized. So in this study, what Sandhya has done is doing an impact assessment of vehicular emission standards and clean fuels and alternative technologies. So she has looked at basic questions, because new standards are being released. Are they really working in real time? Because that kind of assessment is required. And we are doing that studies here. And so she has, what are her major findings and policy recommendations? She has looked at effectiveness of emission standards. And this, I think, lab tests do not reflect real driving emissions. When you do in a controlled condition, many parameters are not addressed. And another important thing to me as a layman, I'm a layman in this area, two-wheeler emissions are very high. And many of these policies are not focusing on that. So are we really not looking at the actual emitters? And also impact of electric vehicles. While you may go for electric vehicles, are we really shifting, looking at emissions from the tailpipe to the power sector? Somewhere you're drawing that energy. So are you, like even when you talk of artificial intelligence, those huge gigawatts of power is being drawn. Is it really green energy? So these are the questions which at policy level we are addressing. And she has published many publications, and actually she has identified gaps. You know that you cannot have over reliance on pre-sale certification, and life cycle assessment should be done actually. And you know, regulation should match with what is the real time condition. So these are the kind of policy evidence which we want to take to the ministries, like concerned ministries, and see and work with Niti Aayog and others to see can we revise the policies. I think this is a very important research which NISPER is doing. And apart from that, we also have strength in scientometrics, and we are also looking at assessment of R&D indicators. We are all talking only of publications. Is that the only way to measure output of R&D? So these are questions which have to be addressed. This is a work of Dr. Vinayak. He is assessing, you know, what is a breakthrough capacity in science, and he's also trying to see, can we predict which papers are going to be breakthrough? And in fact, in this, he has done an analysis of 60 million scientific articles using AI and ML and in physical science domains. And he finds that while number of publications in China and India are growing, but what he calls the breakthrough complexity ranking, US is still leading. So it's just not a metric of only number of publications or impact factor which matter. So you need to look at the parameter. And this is really important, I think, because in India we have limited resources. Where do you deploy these limited resources? That I think that strategic decision making can be aided by studies like this. And so another aspect which we are looking at is technology readiness levels. Most of you, especially if you are developing technologies, you will hear about TRLs. And today morning also, I think we talked about TRLs. And you know, when funding is coming now, with the RDI fund, they want technologies to be at particular level because avoid the valley of death. Now, who is going to tell what is that TRL? I can claim some TRL, but somebody has to go back and say, yes, this assessment is right. So that kind of framework has been developed at NISPER. And what is important is NASA has a generic framework. Now, that is for some technologies, but you need to develop sector specific. For example, energy could be different, the way you do drug development is different. So you have to have sector specific, and that is what we are doing, coming up with sector specific recommendations. And that kind of, and we want to connect with PSA and Niti Aayog and others to take our frameworks for implementation. Another work which I think which was started during Dr. Mande's time when he was a DG CSIR, doing socio-economic impactment of CSIR technologies. Many times government is putting funds, and we need to answer what has science delivered to the society. We may say, you know, so many people are trained, we have developed technologies, but we are not assessing it the right impact because we are looking only at direct impact, but there is an indirect impact. How do you measure that? So those are the kind of studies. For example, we looked at Aroma Mission, and we found that many tribal populations were empowered by increasing their income and supporting their families. So what is known as direct impact, indirect impact, and induced impact. So we are also trying to strengthen this socio-economic impact studies at NISPER, because I think this is a very valuable contribution which scientific community has to really answer the policymakers. And apart from that, what we are doing is we are, like recently we did a workshop with INSA and American Chemical Society, because today morning also you heard about deep tech startups. Now India is really known for startups. Now from startups, we need to go to deep tech startups which are protected by patents, and that is the real value. And a deep tech will take at least 10 years to mature. So what are the needs of the society? What is the role of the stakeholders? So we do a lot of stakeholder consultations, bringing in all the players from the R&D, from industry, from the government and regulatory agencies, and identify what are the bottlenecks and how do we. So this is one example. I think Famida is also here. She was also involved in this INSA study. So we are planning to do a workshop, and we have done a workshop. Now we want to come up with a white paper and take it forward. And another thing, which recent activity which we did was a human-centered AI, and we are happy to say that this proposal was selected for as an official pre-event for the India AI Impact Summit. And in fact, we had a Russian collaboration with St. Petersburg University, and interestingly, they came from Department of Sociology. And I think this is one thing again unique in NISPER, where you can bring humanities people and connect it, because when you talk of human-centered AI, it's just not technology. You need to go beyond technology and see how it impacts the people. And we really got valuable inputs from this, and we want to take it forward again and to see how we can provide frameworks for what is human-centered AI. And this is one of the works. And as we are speaking today we have the semiconductor ecosystem workshop, and me and Sandhya were there in the morning. Dr. Ram Gopal Rao was talking about it. Again, here we want to contribute. India is investing heavily in semiconductors, or both the missions. Now, what more can be done? And what are the bottlenecks and what gaps can be addressed. So we are doing a stakeholder consultation today as we speak. So these are some of the areas which we are doing at NISPER. And I come back, this is my last slide. As I told, we have a portfolio of research journals, and everything is online submission, online editorial system. We are using all open access, open source tools to keep, and there is no APCs, there is open access, and we really want to strengthen these journals, and we need the support of the scientific community. You can contribute by being peer reviewers also, because we find a challenge in getting reviewers. Because one of the things is people say we want quick publication, but quick publication will come only when we get reviews on time. And for that, it is the scientific community who has to contribute. So I look forward to enhancing this with all your cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a thought-provoking lecture. The floor is now open for the question and answer session. So any of the participant who wishes to have questions from ma'am can raise their hands. After the lunch and afternoon session, everyone gets tired and there are no further questions. If anyone wishes to have one, okay, sir, please. We will have the mic, sir.
Thanks for this wonderful lecture. It's a different sort of lecture. I'm a PhD student, so I can sense that. What I want to ask you, that when you were talking about this indirect parameters or induced parameters, so there can be a lot of parameters. And how, like, what is your view on optimizing those parameters? How are you really going to get a concrete results? Because if the parameters are n in numbers, how you are going to optimize things at last and really understand that whether that has gained visibility or not?
Yeah, no, I think it's a very good question. And so I'm not an expert in that area, but we do work with the policy, there are frameworks, and we also work with economists who really look at these things. Because how do you attribute directly to the technology and not the surrounding factors? Because there can be many confounding factors, right? But you need to segregate the data, like, you have to have the data of the technology. What was the market scenario before the technology was launched and post-technology launch? And then you will see various changes, and how do you attribute only to the USP of the technology that the market changed? These are very difficult parameters, but it depends on the data-driven analysis, and you do primary surveys, and you also do look at the secondary data, you talk to the stakeholders, and based on that, with various modeling tools, then you come to the answers.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further questions from the audience? If any, or we shall proceed. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I think we should proceed for the felicitations. This is the most awaited segment for today's programs, the Saransh 2025 Felicitation Ceremony, where we recognize and celebrate the outstanding young researchers for their exemplary scientific contributions. And this particular initiative of INYAS is supported by Springer Nature. So we also give our gratitude to the Springer Nature as well for honoring our initiative, Saransh. And may I request all the dignitaries to please come on the dais to kindly felicitate the awardees as I call their name one by one. There are 4 prizes category: physical and mathematical sciences, engineering sciences, life sciences and chemical sciences. And we have winners first, second and third from all of these 3 categories. First I call upon stage Mr. Hiren Solanki from IIT Gandhinagar in the category physical and mathematical sciences, first prize. Sudeshna Moharana from CSIR National Geophysical Research Institute in the category Physical and Mathematical Sciences, second prize. Mr. Anil Kumar Panda H from Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur in the category Engineering Sciences, first prize. Ms. Sakshi Bharadwaj from Indian Institute of Technology Roorkee in Engineering Sciences category, second prize. We now move ahead with the next winner. As she is not present, so we will ensure that she receives her memento and prizes to her correspondence address. Our next winner, Ms. V. Anita from National Engineering College, Kovilpatti in Engineering Sciences, third prize. I request all the winners to accommodate yourselves in the very first row, as you all will be called once again on the stage to share your experience and thesis with all of us in 1 minute. So I request all the winners to please accommodate yourselves in the first row. Next winner we have Pushpita Saha from BRIC National Institute of Biomedical Genomics in the category Life Sciences, first prize. Next, we have Ms. Abhisha Roy from CSIR Institute of Himalayan Biosource Technology in the category Life Sciences, second prize. A big round of applause for her. We next move to the next winner, Debharati Mondal from International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in the category Life Sciences, third prize. Our next winner, Sujan Manna from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras in the category Chemical Sciences, first prize. Our next winner, M. Vaishali from CSIR Central Leather Research Institute in the category Chemical Sciences, second prize. Our next winner, we have Samapika Sahu from Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur in the category Chemical Sciences, third prize. we extend her big congratulations. With this, we conclude with our felicitations of Saransh 2025, and we now request all our dignitaries to please take their seats, as all the winners will be coming up on the dais and presenting their thesis work with us in 1 minute. So we have made it even more difficult for them to conclude their thesis work in 1 minute. Firstly, I call upon stage Hiren Solanki from IIT Gandhinagar. 1 minute I have to ask them. All the participants are requested to conclude their work in 1 minute.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. As we know that weather and climate extreme events are becoming high and high, and we are seeing very extreme events in our Indian cities. And that's why how this rainfall translates into floods and how it affects people and as a large society and affecting our national economy, it's necessary to know. So what I do is how to forecast these floods using the concepts of machine learning and hydrological modeling, and how to translate that into super users who can use this research for agriculture purpose or any other purpose which can really drive their economy. Thank you.
Next, we have Sudeshna Moharana from CSIR NGRI.
Good afternoon, everyone, respected delegates, guests, and my fellow colleagues. I'm Sudeshna Maharana from CSR NGRI, Hyderabad. My PhD research focus on the South River Basin, which is a central India part, and it is very important from commercial point of view, because here we have, here this area is enriched with hydrocarbon and mineral potentials. And by using three-component wide-angle seismic data analysis, I have provided a subsurface model which will explain the interface of different rock layers, and I have delineated the rock composition, and that helps to identify the prospect zones of hydrocarbon and mineral present that place, and also with additionally the tectonic process that happened to construct this basin and shape this basin, and with that the evolution of the central India, how it evolved, that the central India, how it evolved, particularly in that basin. That thing I have explained in my research work. And I would like to thank the Saran's team, the INYAS and the INSA, to give me this opportunity to condense my work within 3 minutes and present in front of the common audience, so that I get like literally I get very overwhelmed, like how I will explain my research in 3 minutes. It is very difficult for me actually, and anyway I did it, and I feel very happy with that. And I feel the students, the fellow colleagues from geophysics background, they will participate in this Saran's program in future in number, so that they will learn that how they can explain their work in 3 minutes, which is actually very important and to the common audience. And thank you for this honor, and thank you for this opportunity.
Mr. Anil Kumar Panda H from IIT Kanpur.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anil Kumar Panda. I'm a PhD scholar in electrical engineering at IIT Kanpur. I'm also affiliated with Samtel Center of Display Technologies and the National Center for Flexible Electronics at IIT Kanpur. My research focuses on designing and fabricating organic solar cells on flexible substrates, particularly paper. The aim of my research is to develop a fully printed solar module on paper, establishing a more sustainable and environmentally responsible photovoltaic technology. On this occasion, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the members of INYAS, INSA and the Saransh committee for giving me an opportunity to present my work before a broader audience. And being recognized as a winner is both an honor and also a strong sense of motivation for me. This recognition inspires me to continue advancing in this field and build solutions that make a lasting difference. Lastly, I would also like to extend my congratulations to all my fellow participants for the excellent work. Thank you.
Miss V. Anita from National Engineering College, Kovilpatti.
Vanakkam. Very good noon to one and all present here. I am V. Anita. I'm coming from South India, Tamil Nadu. I'm working as assistant professor in National Engineering College, Kovilpatti. I feel really great to be a part and parcel of this event, wonderful event. And my research is titled Design and Development of Land Use, Land Cover, Classification and Change Prediction Algorithms in Remote Sensing Images, that is satellite images. So my research revolves around how the land cover and the land type, for example, the forest, wetland and urban areas are getting changed day by day, and how it may change in the future, that is in the unforeseen years, so that we can have a very good prediction of how our mother land is getting converted in the day by day, and it helps the government institutions to get good policies. And I feel really great to present myself as one among the participants of Saranj 2025 INYAS, and for the impartial and also recognizing the talents all over the country. Thank you. And I feel immensely proud to represent my college here. And a few members I would like to represent: Dr. D. Manimegle, my supervisor, and Dr. S. Kalachalvi, my co-supervisor, and also Dr. D. M.A. Neelakandan, my research R&D research dean, and my HOD, Dr. K.G. Srinivasagan, for giving me this wonderful opportunity and motivating me to travel all along from Tamil Nadu to take part in this event. And I feel very proud to represent my college here as one candidate. Thank you, INYAS, and thank you, INSA, for happening this. Thank you.
Ms. Pushpita Saha from BRIC, National Institute of Biomedical Genomics.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pushpita Shaha. I'm a PhD student from BRIC and IBMG. I am working in Dr. Mohua Maulik's and Dr. Maulinath Acharya's lab. So my research addresses a long-standing question that how amyloid beta impairs the functions of the gap junction proteins in astrocytes. So we demonstrated that amyloid beta induced proteostatic defects impair the astroglial gap junctional communication, and using both pharmacological and genetic approaches, we counteracted the amyloid beta induced defects and restored the gap junctional communication. So while currently major therapeutic interventions in AD are mainly amyloid beta centric, but our study presents a paradigm shift by highlighting the importance of restoring the gap junctional communication in AD astrodegeneration. So I feel deeply honored to be standing here today and felicitated by INSA INYAS for my PhD work. It tremendously feels great, and it's a great journey, and it's a great learning experience to be able to present my PhD work on this platform, and gaining such national visibility is a transformative journey during these formative years of my PhD career. And as I'm entering my 5th year, this recognition came as a fresh wave of enthusiasm, exactly like the one when I entered my 1st year of PhD. So thank you for this incredible honor.
Debarati Mondol from International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology.
Hello everyone, I'm Debarati from ICGB New Delhi. So I'm basically a PhD student under Dr. Jitendra Kumar Thakur. So my PhD work basically focuses on identification of few novel antifungals against one of the human fungal pathogen, Candida glabrata. So with this aim, we started our project, and till now, I have successfully identified few compounds that are really along with novel as well as antifungal against Candida glabrata. And apart from this, currently I'm just identifying their roles and deciphering their roles in the human cell lines as well as mouse model. So besides the research work, I would like to extend my great thanks to INYAS to give me this wide platform to share my work in front of whole across the country. And I'd like to mention few moments, like in my masters also I was participated in one of the event, Indian international SciArt competition in organized by INYAS, and that time also I got some acknowledgement from INYAS as a people choice award. So in PhD also I'm getting this, so I'm very happy. Thank you INYAS INSA for giving me this platform and this opportunity to share my work. Thank you.
Sujan Manna from IIT Madras.
Greetings of the day to all the luminaries of your respective field. What an incredible day to talk about my research in front of this large gathering of the brilliant minds of India, encompassing past, present, and future. On the lineage of Professor C.V. Raman, I would love to share that I'm working on Raman spectroscopy and surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy to detect pollutants in water, to include machine learning as a cutting edge technique to really see the nuances from a spectrum. We tell it that same but not different. So how you can actually distinguish between these two? By machine learning. Along with that, we are working on our culturally relevant Ayurvedic technique. That is also I'm trying to solve a problem, a long-standing problem, how you can actually talk about the authenticity of Ayurvedic drugs by using Raman spectroscopy. Moreover, I want to thank the INYAS team, the INSA team, and the organizing committee along with the judges to really select me so that I can come and present my work here. And this particular competition called Sarans, I believe this is timely and an amazing opportunity, because in the age of Instagram and artificial intelligence, to convince someone who is not from your field, you have only 3 minutes and not 300 pages of your thesis. Thank you.
Wonderfully articulated. Our next winner, M. Vaishali from CSIR Central Leather Research Institute.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, I'm Vaishali, a PhD student from CSIR Central Leather Research Institute. My research work focuses on the recycling of multi-layered polymeric materials found in footwear. The work that I deal with is the pre-consumer footwear waste, not the post-consumer footwear waste, which we discard. Generally, the pre-consumer footwear waste goes and ends up into the landfill sites. There is a lot of cutting waste that is generated during the manufacturing process. So my work focuses on the recycling aspect of it. So the problem with the pre-consumer footwear waste, it is generally multi-layered with so many different types of polymers. So my work is on upcycling upcycling the polymers through controlled depolymerization strategy. Also, apart from this, I would like to thank the INYAS for conducting the Saransh 2025. By compressing years of work in 3 minutes was not an easy task, and it actually helped me gain confidence and perspective. I also, another challenge of doing this was to communicate science, the complexity of science in simpler words without dissolving the depth of science. So this, I was able to do that, and I'm very happy about it. And I thank my supervisor and also all my mentors. I also thank the platform for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With this, we conclude the 1-minute presentations of all our winners. And I now request our President INSA to please felicitate Geetavani Raisam ma'am as our chief guest for delivering today's National Science Day lecture at INSA. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We now conclude the National Science Day inaugural function that we have the privilege to witness here at INSA today at 27th of February, which we will continue in Vigyan Bhavan tomorrow. And it is my profound honor to present the vote of thanks. I warmly and very delightfully thank ma'am, Dr. Geetavani Raisam, Director NISPER, for her gracious presence. I thank our President, Professor Shekhar C. Mande, our Vice President, Professor Manna. I also thank the INSA colleagues, Dr. Brajesh Pandey, Dr. Seema Mandal, Shri Sunil Zokarkar, all the employees, technical staff and helping staff who has been the backbone of this program for past 1 week. So I thank all of them to pull off this event since the morning. I thank you all once again, and I request all the dignitaries to please come forward for a group photograph as we conclude this program. Thank you so much. All the winners are requested if they can come at front and have a group picture together. I'm very delighted to see that the theme of Science Day and the picture is very at parallel now, women in scientific domain. A big congratulations to you all. Thank you all. With this, we conclude the National Science Day for today, which we will be continuing tomorrow at Vigyan Bhavan. Thank you.